Well, the US is trying to ease tensions between Israel and Turkey after Tel Aviv struck an airbase in Syria that it says was being used by Turkish forces last week. Now, US envoy Tom Barak saying in an interview with podcaster Mary Naufal that Turkey is not interested in any kind of hostilities with Israel. Barak called Israel's move an unnecessary escalation and suggested a possible political motive since Israel's elections are about 2 months away. Have a listen.
They're not interested in attacking or even engaging in any kind of kinetic or adversarial relationship with Israel. It's not good for the region. It's not good for them. Everybody is looking for an off-ramp. So one theory is they were just baiting Turkey, that it's a very aggressive but maybe a well-received pre-election concept.
CNN's Jérôme Diamond joining us live from Tel Aviv. I thought those were really interesting words and framing from Tom Barak. So is Netanyahu casting Turkey as his latest enemy? What do we understand about Israel's position here, as Tom points out, just some weeks ahead of an election?
Well, Ambassador Barak is certainly a diplomat in the region known for speaking his mind, for his candor, and sometimes for going off of the traditional diplomatic script. But what he's suggesting there is certainly something that's been discussed in Israel as well, that the Israeli prime minister's kind of aggressive moves in Syria could potentially be, one part of a multi-pronged effort to display himself to the Israeli public as someone who's tough on national security and who's not going to be afraid of striking to prevent potential threats from developing. And let's bear in mind that that is indeed what we are talking about in Syria, is the Israeli belief that Turkey was on the verge of deploying some of its troops to Syria at Syria's invitation. Not that it had happened, but merely the idea, the possibility that it might happen in the near future from the Israeli perspective was enough to justify carrying out that strike on that airbase. And it does reflect a major change in Israel's security doctrine since the October 7th, 2023 attacks, where Israel is basically going after even just the mere possibility of capabilities that could develop into a threat before, rather than just going after threats as they actually emerge and pose themselves to be threats to the state of Israel. So it reflects a change in Israel's security doctrine. It reflects perhaps the Israeli prime minister's current, political election campaign as well. But ultimately, what it's leading to right now is a series of negotiations mediated by the United States between Israel and Syria. And for now, the Syrians don't seem to be backing away from the path that they have chosen to take since Ahmed al-Shara came into power following the Syrian civil war, which is that he is seeking de-escalation with Israel. Shara has made clear repeatedly that he is not seeking any kind of confrontational posture towards Israel, and in fact that both sides seemed quite close to negotiating a potential security agreement that could potentially see Israeli troops withdrawn from the portion in Syria that they have been occupying since Shara came into power. Now, the Israelis publicly have not commented on all of this, except for the Israeli prime minister's comments about the Turkish president a few days ago. So we don't know exactly where the Israelis stand as far as their willingness to reach this agreement with Shara, particularly in the lead up, with a couple months left until the Israeli elections. But certainly the Syrians, despite having seen one of their air bases struck by the Israelis and hundreds of other Israeli strikes over the last year, they still seem quite willing to engage in that diplomacy and to try and reach some kind of agreement that could calm down these tensions.